Emerging trends and technologies are going to be discussed within this presentation. We'll also be talking a little bit about virtual storage and file management, because you can't really think about emerging trends and technologies and all the different implications this has on content that we produce without having a concern for how you're going to store this content, this digital gold, if you will, and how you're going to manage those files that you create. And then finally, we're going to talk a little bit about personal management. How you manage yourself so that you accomplish the goals and objectives that you want to in your life. And this has implications for us both personally as well as professionally. And we're going to look a little bit into calendar tools and scheduling tools, things that can help make that personal management, which includes time management, a little bit more doable for us. And then lastly, we're going to look at social bookmarking, where we can access our bookmarks from multiple devices, different locations, as well as rate and see what others think, what others' perceptions are of some of the bookmarked sites that are available. So that being said, let's get on with it. When this module is complete, you should be able to utilize technology to enhance personal or professional performance, and I would like to think that it should be an and in there, enhance personal and professional performance. Certainly, if you apply some of the technologies discussed here and within the different readings that are assigned for this module, it should have a profound impact on your professional as well as your personal performance. The objectives are to enhance personal or professional performance through application of technology and offer practical suggestions to improve time management. It's not hard to think of things that have changed due to emerging trends and technologies. Most of us today mail fewer hard copy pieces than we ever did. In fact, first-class mail delivery is expected to decline by about 34% between 2009 and 2020. Email has definitely been a game changer for the postal industry. You know, when's the last time you mailed a card or a letter? And some of us might have sent some out during the holiday times, but think about it, email has definitely had an impact. We do a lot of communication asynchronously through the use of email. And text messaging is having an impact on email, at least for a lot of people. There are a lot of different technologies that are emerging or perhaps integral at this point, fairly well established. And figure 9.1 in the text by Haig and Cummings does a really good job of illustrating a lot of these technologies. And I've put a few here, selected a few from that list as moving toward or being more integral than just emerging technologies. Certainly Wi-Fi is now commonplace in healthcare and educational institutions and in most places that I choose to dine. Many of the places where I stop to eat have free Wi-Fi available. In fact, I've seen people haul in complete iMac computers or their Windows 8 computer systems, you know, built-in all-in-ones, and set them up on a table at Panera Bread and start working away as though they're at their office. So it's kind of interesting to see when that happens, but it does happen. Bluetooth is now seemingly everywhere, at least in my world, including my computer system, my smartphone, my car, even my exercise heart rate monitor strap is now Bluetooth enabled so that it can communicate with my smartphone and graph things as I'm working out. So it's just incredible how this technology has spread into so many different devices. It's also very cool. Implant chips are fairly commonplace today in pets. Some people have their pets' information implanted into a chip. Virtual reality, who knows how long it'll take before they start to implant those into people. Virtual reality is moving towards becoming integral with things such as Google Glass and many gaming systems and patient simulation systems as well. Speech recognition is also fairly mainstream today, especially in doctors' offices and also in medical settings. I'm currently working on a study on the use of speech recognition by physicians in the emergency department setting with some colleagues, and we're exploring physicians' perceptions of the speech recognition system as it's integrated with their electronic medical record system. Software as a service is making itself known and fairly mainstream now, at least when I think that Microsoft Office 360 is now available by a subscription at a yearly cost. In the past, one would go out, and you still can, go out and buy Microsoft Office, install it on your computer, and you were good until you decide to buy another version of that particular software. But with the new Microsoft Office 360, I recently purchased a new computer, and they want to sell me a subscription to that at a yearly cost so that my software will always be up to date. I will pay a small fee every year, maybe not so small, a little over $100, somewhere around in there. And that will keep my software up to date, and I can use the very latest and greatest Microsoft software. Facial recognition software is not so commonplace, but one can certainly play with it using things such as Facebook. A few years back, I was able to work with cameras that would recognize an instructor's face and remotely follow the instructor around the room as they were delivering a lecture. It would be recording the lecture with this video camera, and this facial recognition software would memorize the instructor's face and then follow that face as the instructor walked around the room delivering their lecture. It didn't work quite as well as the system we had used previously or prior to that, which had like a sensor that the camera tracked to keep you within the frame. But it did work, and so that was facial recognition actually from quite some time ago. So I mentioned Office 360, and there are a lot of other different types of applications that offer software as a service as opposed to just buying it and then buying upgrades and new versions. Some of these are in place on your smartphone in the form of apps. If you have a car with a built-in navigation system, in some cases it's on a type of software as a service model. Just about. The GPS updates for your maps, they sell them, and they're available annually for a fee, and you get the latest version of the map applications for a cost of typically around $100. And another one that you might not think of as software as a service, but the AARC, American Association for Respiratory Care, has an app out, and in order to fully utilize all the features of that app, of course, you have to be a member of the American Association of Respiratory Care for respiratory care, and so it's kind of on a subscription type of service, even though you might think of it as something you just download and install. Many of these software as a service types of applications are cloud-based, and so they run from within the cloud, so you don't have the software actually on a particular device, and you can access it from nearly anywhere. Pretty cool. Another emerging technology is Web 3.0, and Web 3.0 focuses on semantics. So we talked about Web 2 and the difference between it and Web 1 primarily being the amount of interactivity that people could have with the web and content and others through the web, and it not just being just a, go out and find things that you want and read them, but a lot of interactivity and collaboration available with Web 2.0 technologies, and now Web 3.0 focusing more on semantics, with semantics here being the ability of web technologies to interpret and understand human-generated content. This should improve and tailor search results, perhaps based on what you're currently working on. So, for example, if you were writing a paper on voice or speech recognition, you might find yourself you do some research in research databases, searching on different terms associated with that, and all of a sudden you may find yourself receiving ads or invitations to conferences dealing with speech or voice recognition. Virtual reality applications, I think a lot of people have seen or at least are aware of of flight simulators that have been available for a long period of time to allow people to train in those types of situations. That would be too dangerous to just try and simulate all these different emergency landings and things like that. So simulators have been around a long time for that type of training. Clinical simulations have been around for a long period of time, and those who have taken the AARC or MBRC's advanced practitioner exams are aware of the clinical simulation exams. Years back, I remember doing some clinical simulation exams that utilized large amounts of videos so that you could see the patients, hear them, see interviews, and if you didn't perform so well, you would even see a vignette in video of someone playing taps and the person being marked as deceased. So there are much more sophisticated simulators out there now, where as you're working on your patient, you can have a full-size mannequin-type patient, and as you do and perform different assessments, you get clinical data, and as you start IVs and hook up monitors and things, you can see blood pressure changes, heart rate changes, respiratory rate changes, etc. Much like working on a real patient. So these are very sophisticated patient simulators that are available today. And they can be used for training all sorts of healthcare professionals, including training physicians to even perform surgical procedures. Our current Web 2 technologies that are commonly used in education, such as wikis, blogs, etc., are a small part of what's available, according to Kamel Bullis and Weaver in this article, The Emerging Web 2.0 Social Software and Enabling Suite of Sociable Technologies in Health and Healthcare Education. And this article was published in Health Information and Libraries Journal. I've put it up on the website in Module 4 so that you can read it over when you get a chance. The authors also offer a glimpse of future software, touching on Web 3.0 and how it could be combined with Web 2.0 to, in their thoughts anyway, produce the definitive architecture of participation. What you see here is a screen print from my iPhone. I went out and searched for some apps that were related to respiratory care. And so some of them I found an app for chest, the AARC Respiratory Physician Journal Update, which provides some great updates on various journals that might be of interest to respiratory physicians. Now, RT for decision makers in respiratory care, as well as the Respiratory Care Journal. These are available for computer systems, tablets, and many mobile phones. So this is just a glimpse of what one panel of my iPhone now looks like with these respiratory care apps. Very useful. Self-management is very important. If we want to achieve our own personal and professional goals and objectives, we need to be able to manage ourselves as well as be able to manage others. And a quote that's attributed to Lewis Carroll appears on that slide, and I think it's something to keep thinking about. If you don't want to set goals and objectives, you're kind of wandering around aimlessly, or as Lewis Carroll once said, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. So the better you manage yourself, the better you can manage others. And some of the personal resources that we have available to ourselves can help us to reach our goals. And these include initiative, organization, and one of the great equalizers, time. And time is a great equalizer. All of us, no matter how rich or what our position is in life or society, we all have 24 hours each day. We get 24 hours each day. It's what we do with that 24 hours, what we choose to do with it, that makes us unique. And I put a link here for a little story by Dr. Stephen Covey, and it's called The Big Rocks of Life. And in this story, he talks about how important it is that we prioritize and set goals and objectives and prioritize so that the things that are important to us get done. It's very easy if we don't focus on the big things, the things that we want to achieve that are important to us, both personally and professionally. If we lose that focus, it's very easy for small everyday things and maybe what some refer to as the minutiae of life seem to fill up all our time so that we don't have time to get those big things accomplished. So one of the things I'd like you to do is please make sure that you take a read of The Big Rocks of Life, and I put the link up on the slide there. But also make a list of things, if you haven't done this already, of things that you want to accomplish, maybe within the next year or the next 6 months or so. And decide what it's going to take for you to actually accomplish that list and how you're going to get started progressing towards that. The gist of the Big Rocks of Life story is that if you allow the little things to take up all your time, to fill this container, if you will, take up all your time, then you won't have time to accomplish those big things. So make sure that you prioritize your time accordingly so that you have time to accomplish the big things, the big rocks in your life. There are a number of effective calendar programs, and a few of them are listed here on this slide. It's not so much which one you choose, or just pick one that you like and find easy to use. More important is what you choose to do with it, and of course, you need to actually use it. I use Google Calendar a lot. It allows me to access my calendar from a computer or my mobile device from nearly anywhere. And I also am able to assign others to be able to put appointments on that calendar for me so I don't tie up all my time doing those sorts of things. There are some scheduling software out there. There's some scheduling software out there that's quite useful when you want to schedule meetings with multiple people. That can occupy a lot of time if you're just calling people and asking them what dates they have available and trying to work that out. But programs such as Doodle and Meeting Wizard have made this much more efficient. It allows people to go on there and check boxes when they're available, and then everyone can see when other people are available. And it makes short work out of scheduling these meetings with multiple participants. Another software that I found useful, and I posted up here, not so much that it's a calendar tool, but it could be used for scheduling and having conference calls using a phone, is freeconferencecall.com. I've utilized this with colleagues to have meetings about any number of topics, and you don't have to set up and purchase a conference phone and all kind of arrangements to have a conference call. It works very well. I've utilized this in my work as a Quality Matters reviewer for courses where you have to have meetings with the team, and it works quite well. It allows everyone to call in at a predetermined time and not have a lot of charges with that phone call. So it works very well. Highly recommended if you have to have conference calls with people from time to time. There are other programs out there. Well, you can find them, I'm sure, online. There are programs that allow you to save your bookmarks, social bookmarking programs, and you can access your bookmarks then from different devices without losing your bookmarks when you switch from one to another. And social bookmarking services also allow you to see what others think of various bookmarked sites. So it allows you to share your perceptions among a group of people about various sites. And two of these that I've posted up here, and there are others out there, Diego and Delicious, and I've put some links in there to make it convenient for you to go visit those. I suggest you give them a try when you get a chance. Voice over Internet Protocol has had a huge impact on phone revenues for phone companies, as Voice over IP allows you to make a lot of phone calls using various software services such as Skype, TinyChat, free of charge, so you can talk to people from long distances away. These sites allow you to effectively speak with others without those long distance charges. Skype allows great chat experiences, and I've used it from as far away as Japan. back to the United States. It's worked very, very well for me and saved me a lot of money compared to what I would have paid to place that phone call either from a pay phone or a hotel phone or even my mobile phone for that matter, because I don't have international calling set up. ooVoo is another program that's really cool and allows you to have a great video conference call with multiple participants engaging in that conference call. So it's really, really a neat program for having group meetings. It can be used for education or management purposes, as most of these things that we're talking about can. When we're talking about all this technology and various content that you might have in digital formats, including your music collection, photos, video, audio pieces, slide presentations, documents, all sorts of things that you might have as either an effective manager or educator, you have a lot of digital resources, and so virtual storage can be very, very important, both in the context of saving backup of your precious content, as well as virtual storage that can allow you to share that content with others. And some of the applications that are really great for storing and sharing files with others include Google Drive, Drive HQ, as well as Dropbox. And so sharing files have great management and educational uses. One caveat with Dropbox that I recently ran into working with a group is that somebody decided to clean out Dropbox. They thought just on their personal computer and they wiped out all the files. So if you're going to use some of these systems, it's important also to make sure that you have one or more participants keep archival copies of what's important for the group, just in case, and training people on how to properly utilize Dropbox or Google Drive is important as well. Another type of storage, and many of these operate in the cloud so that you can access your content from nearly anywhere. For backups, you have things, you can have a personal hard drive set up on your computer so that you can keep backups of your content. If you work at an institution, you might have a NAS storage system or a virtual drive somewhere set up on the institution's network so that it's not shared by others off campus. Wherever you're working, if you want to store work-related items, make sure that you talk to your IT professionals to see what the institution recommends. I also recommend multiple ways to store multiple backups if possible. Things as simple as an external hard drive or a USB drive to keep a copy, plus storing it perhaps on a virtual file system or virtual drive somewhere. One of the commercial entities that does cloud storage and automatic backups, Carbonite, is one of the subscription services that's out there, and there are others as well. But whatever you do, make sure you keep copies of your digital work, because it's very, very painful to lose some important documents. I posted a couple discussion questions for you to consider for this module. One is to share an example of a time-saving strategy that you have found useful. That will help us all with our own personal management goals. And then the second one there, post an example of technology that you use to help manage time or improve your productivity. And describe your personal experience with the technology that you chose, including strengths and weaknesses. Being said, I look forward to reading your responses to the discussion activities. Enjoy the day. Bye.